how do you do? A missed ballet recital, a folded business idea, a fizzled friendship. Failure comes in many shapes and sizes, but one thing is for sure, no one is immune from stuffing up.
No one. Well, today we're revealing how to embrace the setbacks and learning the steps to failing successfully. Communication author Georgia Murch joins us to explain. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you, Georgia. Now, most of us think failure is bad. Is it sort of time we need to normalise failure and think of it more like a success?
Yeah. I don't think thinking about failure and success as the same is a great start, but definitely normalising that part of success is failing. And in order for us to get there. And if you think about it, I reckon we're actually better at failing than we are winning in the first place. So whether it's...
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, you're already ahead.
Yes, I wouldn't disagree with that.
So whether it's bad decisions or bad relationships, or I can even think of, parenting, if we rate my parenting last week as whether I'm a good parent or not, then I'd be an epic fail. So sorry, kids on television.
Yeah.
But we've got to actually make peace with the fact that we are going to have stuff-ups along the way. And it's actually what I reckon is the prelude to success.
Like, make friends with it, if you like. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
How do we make friends with failure?
Yeah.
Or accept it, I guess.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Well, again, we lose more than we win, and I don't think it's the failure that's the problem. I think it's our relationship to failure that actually causes... We have this voice inside our heads that says that failure is the enemy, but in fact it's the opportunity for us to learn and for us to grow through those moments. And one of the things that I found really helpful to progress in life is allowing myself to be human and what I call being flawsome, which is essentially having flaws but also being awesome at the same time, and marrying those two actually allows me to be human. It allows me to move forward and, be able to make mistakes.
You want us to adopt this sort of growth mentality. You say that can help. Just run us through that. Explain that for us.
So I first founded this concept by a lady called Dr. Carol Dweck, and she did a huge amount of research to show that people who are highly successful have a particular type of mindset, and it's a growth mindset. So she says we have two. We either have a fixed mindset, which says I win or lose, or I'm good or I'm bad, or we have a growth mindset, which says I don't win or lose, I win or learn. And so in that process, I'm never losing, I'm always learning.
Right.
And so if we do the work on ourselves and learn that our relationship to failure is unhealthy, and we need to look in those little opportunities and go, okay, so what's the thing I can take away from that? What's the thing that I can do in order to move forward?
Gee, that's a good way
and
to put
talk about it.
That sounds good.
Yeah. But executing it is a difficult thing.
Execute,
so
yeah.
This self-talk,
Yeah.
how do we manage that? How do we get ourselves to listen to ourselves?
Yeah. Well, I think firstly we've got to look at the thoughts that are happening in our head in the first place. So many of us don't take the time to stop and go, what am I making this mean? And what's the learning in it for me in the first place? Brene Brown is an awesome Texan researcher, and she talks about that the antidote to shame, which is I failed or I feel bad or I am bad, is vulnerability, which is being open, talking about it. And essentially what that does is that we learn to go, it's not that I'm the failure, it's that it failed. So we've got to actually rewire that self-talk.
Some of the most successful women and men in the world will give you a long line of failures along the way to the top, right? Do we have to fail to succeed? Does it help to fail?
Well, I don't know that it doesn't not help. And most of the time we actually have more failures in the way to get there. So if you think about it, like I started my business about 6 years ago. Was I successful straight away? No friggin' way. It took me 25 years of making mistakes in order to get here. And you think about it too, like I was a parent. I became a parent 16 years ago, and I definitely wanted to be great at it. Am I great all the time? No, but I'm flawsome. And so what successful people have learnt to do is make friends with those setbacks and go, okay, I failed. What do I learn? Hop back on the bike. I failed.
Yeah.
What do I learn? And that creates its own momentum in itself.
Okay. Before you say, there's a unique activity we can do in order to normalise failure or be more accepting of it, I guess? And what do you? It involves celebrating failure.
Yeah.
So you've got some examples for us.
Yeah. So I think there's two things in how we can create activities around failure. So the one is the personal one. So when we are in those situations where we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve, let's do the self-reflection. Let's go, okay, what's the learning in this for me? Did I ignore my gut? Did I make a bad decision? So what did I do, and what can I do differently next time? But I work with a lot of businesses as well, and the really successful, cool ones, well, I reckon they're pretty cool, is those that have learnt to embrace their failures. And they have things like Failure Fridays or Fail Forward sessions or even F-Up nights, where the leaders of the business actually talk about the mistakes that they did make and share them with the people around them and normalise it. So they're making friends with Flawsome.
Loving Flawsome. All right, good to see you.
Great.
Thanks, Georgia.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, got a lot out of that.